Hello dear listeners, me and Dasha are glad to present you our new episode of the podcast Double Shot of Art. Dasha, say hello.
Hello.
So today we are going to discuss quite an unusual topic. We are going to talk about architecture of the Kremlin complex and to be more precise, the Cathedral of the Archangel. So Dasha, do you know anything about this cathedral?
Yes, of course. Well, at first it was constructed in about 14th century, but however, it was damaged.
As far as I know, at first this cathedral was made of wood. Is it right?
Yes, you're right. And then it was rebuilt with the use of stone by Ivan Kalita.
Okay, and who is Ivan Kalita? Maybe you can tell us.
Well, Ivan Kalita was Grand Duke of Moscow from 1325, and he was the first who was buried there.
Oh, and I would like to emphasize the fact that, as far as I know, this cathedral serves as a shrine for the Russian rulers. Is it right?
Yes, and I have a question for you. Do you know who was the last monarch who was buried in the church?
Wow, it's a tricky question, but I think I know the answer. I suppose that the last ruler that was buried in there was the Alexei Mikhailovich.
No, actually you're wrong. Peter II was the last monarch who was buried in the church. And do you know why?
No, but I hope you'll tell us.
Well, look, until the time of Peter the Great, all Russian tsars were buried there, but then the royal necropolis was moved to Peter and Paul Cathedral in St. Petersburg, and Tsar Peter II just died in Moscow, and
so they decided not to spend money on his transportation and decided to just leave him in Moscow.
Well, maybe
kind of. Okay, so now we know a little bit about the historical part, and I would like to tell you a few words about the architectural aspects of this cathedral. So it's made of stone, and it's a bright example of the domed architecture. It means that there are 5 domes in this cathedral, and there are also 5 apses. So, of course, there is a traditional altar inside of this cathedral in front of one of the apses. The essential part of the Christian architecture is the contrast between the exterior and the interior. The exterior is modest and plain, except for the golden domes, of course, while the interior is rather luxurious and shining. We find ourselves surrounded with light and color, and there are many full-length frescoes inside of this cathedral, which depicts saints who look at people from the walls, ready to help them. I think you would be surprised to hear that all the female figures are buried under the ground of the Archangel Cathedral, and you may ask me, why is that? This happened due to the poor transportation of the coffins, and all the coffins with the female bodies are cracked, so it's impossible to show them to the public.
And I have the last question for you. Do you know the architecture of this cathedral?
Well, I actually know the name, but you can correct my spelling if I'm wrong. I think his name is Alosio Deniu.
Well, yeah, you're quite right.
Alright, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening to us, and goodbye.
Goodbye.